Let's take this segment to look over some MAGA hypocrisy as they try to pretend that they're just the victims of all this inflammatory rhetoric. And why are people being so mean to us? And they're totally not the ones who just, wield it themselves as their greatest political cudgel. I want to start with a clip about J.D. Vance calling out Democrats for pretty much accurately describing Trump and his intentions. And then look how that parallels to Trump's rhetoric himself.
I do think that we should take this opportunity to call for a reduction in the ridiculous and inflammatory political rhetoric coming from too many corners of our politics. Look, we can disagree with one another, we can debate one another, but we cannot tell the American people that one candidate is a fascist, and if he's elected, it is going to be the end of American democracy. We cannot, as a person affiliated with Kamala Harris has said, that we need to, quote, eliminate Donald J. Trump. A New York Democratic congressman has said that in the past.
So first, I love that they cry that, oh, well, Trump was out of context when he said bloodbath and you're just misrepresenting what he said. And then they completely take out of context everything that Democrats are saying to try to pretend like they're these vicious, like they're saying these vicious things about Republicans that are inciting hatred because they can't find any actual quotes that would do so. And we don't even have to get into the fact that J.D. Vance himself called Trump America's Hitler, said he was worse than, he was the opioid epidemic of this generation. But before we expose exactly how hypocritical this is, I do want to say quickly, if Trump just stopped being a fascist, people would stop calling him a fascist. That's what we call simple math.
Kamala Harris is the first major party nominee in American history who fundamentally rejects freedom and embraces Marxism, communism, and fascism. You're learning about this, you'll find out nobody knew who she was.
Oh, wow. I mean, notice how J.D. Vance tried to represent it like the only party calling the other candidate a fascist is Democrats, and they're just talking about Donald Trump and it's Kamala Harris and all these people. However, this is Trump doing exactly that just 11 days ago. Oh, that's too long ago. It doesn't count. Okay, well, here's a transcript of his speech from 3 days ago. Check right under 3816. I mean, Trump's doing exactly that, on top of calling her a Marxist and a communist. And to do the Republican thing about this, well, America has a long history of attacking Marxists and governments and violently overthrowing them and attacking communist nations and trying to destroy them. Does this mean that Republicans are signaling violence towards Kamala? Huh? Do you see how insanely easy it is to do the propaganda thing? And then you mix this with him saying, well, Kamala's erasing our freedom. She's trying to take our country. She's going to ruin America. It's like, which side is it that incites this kind of divisiveness and hatred again? It's clearly Donald Trump. It's not even close. The Democrats calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy after he tries to steal a free and fair election is called the truth. Not propaganda, not incendiary rhetoric. It's called the truth. Maybe you should have ran a candidate who wasn't a threat to democracy. I don't know. But Trump then gets a free pass on everything he says because...
And I know it's popular on a lot of corners of the left to say that we have a both sides problem. And I'm not going to say we're always perfect. I'm not going to say that conservatives always get things exactly right. But you know the big difference between conservatives and liberals is that no one has tried to kill Kamala Harris in the last couple of months, and two people now have tried to kill Donald Trump in the last couple of months. I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric and needs to cut this crap out.
Well, the two people were one, a registered Republican, and the second, a disavowed former Trump voter who also supported Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. So I think this issue exists more on the right and people with right-leaning ideologies. And what about the over 30 bomb threats and shooting threats in Ohio directly motivated by Republican rhetoric against Haitian immigrants that J.D. Vance has continuously ran defense for, rhetoric that J.D. Vance has also admitted lying about, saying that he created a story to get the media talking. The Secret Service just doesn't release the threats made to presidential candidates. So saying Kamala Harris as the first black female nominee has gotten none is pretty silly. I think you have to be denying reality to say that. The reason why this has happened to Trump and escalated to this level is because of who he is. He is a divisive and hateful figure. He attacks multiple groups of people. He spreads hysteria and pain-fueled propaganda. He says things like he wants to be a dictator on day one. He says things like he wants to terminate the Constitution. He says things that pretty eerily line up to Hitlerian rhetoric. And this idea that assassination attempts only show that you're being unfairly targeted or that rhetoric is being used unfairly against you or whatever the talking point is kind of silly when you consider the fact that there were 42 assassination attempts on a man named Hitler. What do you think Republicans would say that says about him then? Was there a deep state conspiracy and incendiary rhetoric from the other side coming at Hitler? I'll let that resonate with you guys as it will.